Good afternoon, everyone. After tackling about the structures for facilitating learner-centered teaching, we will proceed to our next topic, which is the learner-centered instructional strategies. At the end of the lesson, you are expected to first evaluate different perspectives shared in collaborative discussions. Secondly, demonstrate openness and respect for diverse viewpoints during group discussions. And lastly, engage in structured discussions and debates and actively listening and contributing relevant points. So, before we dive deeper into our discussion on learner-centered instructional strategies, let's begin with a fun activity to energize and get you thinking about the different strategies we'll be tackling today. This is called Match the Strategy. Here's how it works. First, around the room, you'll see papers posted with the names to different strategies we'll discuss today. Think pair share, Socratic seminar, fishbowl discussion, and many more. And I have given a definition at the back of the paper. Second, I also have a set of scenario cards, and each card describes a teaching situation. For example, it might say, you want students brainstorm ideas creatively. Third, I'll divide you into small groups, and each group will pick one scenario card. Your task is to discuss which strategy best fits the situation on your card. Once your group agrees, move to the paper on the wall that represents your chosen strategy. And lastly, be ready to explain your choice to the class. You'll need to share your reasoning and how you think the strategy suits the scenario. Any questions before we start? Alright, groups, pick your scenario card. Start discussing, and once you've made your decision, move to the corresponding strategy posted on the wall. You will have 5 minutes to decide. Great work, everyone. Let's hear from each group. Now, start by reading your scenario aloud. Tell us which strategy you picked and explain why you think it is the best fit. Let's begin with the first group. Okay, the second group. Very good. Now, the third group. Very good. Now, let us have the fourth group. Okay, and we will be having our last group, which is the group 5. Fantastic job, everyone. This activity shows how each strategy has its unique strengths, depending on the learning goals and context. Keep this in mind as we explore these strategies in detail today. So, learner-centered teaching emphasizes the importance of active student engagement, autonomy, and collaboration. The strategies outlined, think pair share, Socratic seminar, fishbowl discussion, concept mapping, and peer teaching, silent conversations, and mind mapping are effective tools that align with LCT principles. First up, we have think pair share. Think pair share is a strategy that fosters individual thinking, collaborative discussion, and group sharing. It is particularly useful during a lesson to promote reflective and collaborative learning. Students benefit from hearing diverse perspectives while refining their own understanding. The structured progression from thinking to sharing mirrors the scaffolding necessary for deeper engagement and learning. Think pair share is used during the lesson to encourage active participation and collaborative thinking while students engage with the content in real time. Now, secondly, we are going to have the Socratic seminar. Please read, everyone. Okay, Socratic seminars are pivotal for promoting critical thinking and dialogue. By centering discussions on open-ended questions, students are encouraged to explore multiple viewpoints, asking probing questions, and articulate their reasoning. This is used especially because it shifts the responsibility of learning from the teacher to the students and cultivating independence and intellectual ownership. It is best used during the lesson to facilitate deep discussion and critical thinking as students analyze and respond to open ended questions. We are going to have the fishbowl discussion. Now, kindly read Group 1. Okay, so this dynamic approach balances participation and observation. While students in the fishbowl engage in discussion, those outside listen and reflect. This dual role develops critical listening and speaking skills while encouraging students to learn from their peers. It also ensures that all students at different moments take active roles in the learning process, fostering inclusivity. It is also used during, the instruction to structure student dialogue, ensuring engagement and reflection by alternating roles between speakers and observers. Now, we will be having the concept mapping. Kindly read person from the back. Okay, Lamer. Very good. So concept mapping is versatile, supporting both the activation of prior knowledge and the organization of new information. By visually linking concepts, students deepen their understanding and see relationships between ideas. So, this strategy helps learners develop very good, metacognitive skills, a hallmark of learner-centered education. Very good. So, this approach is used before the lesson to activate prior knowledge or after to help students visualize and review connections between concepts. Okay, let's proceed to the next one, which is the peer teaching. Kindly read persons in front. Okay, very good. So this approach leverages the power of collaboration and agency. When students teach their peers, here, they not only reinforce their understanding but also practice communication and leadership skills. Peer teaching exemplifies the idea of students as the active participants, a central tenet of learner-centered teaching. Now, it is used during the lesson for students to clarify their understanding or after to reinforce and apply what they have learned. Okay, now let's proceed to the silent conversations. Please read, everyone. Okay, for students who might feel intimidated by verbal discussions, silent conversations offer an inclusive alternative. This is good for people who are introverted. So through written dialogue, all students can express their thoughts and engage with their peers' ideas. This strategy ensures equitable participation, aligning with LCT's emphasis on valuing all learners' voices. So this strategy is used during the lesson for students to clarify their understanding or after to reinforce and apply what they have learned. Okay, let's proceed to the mind mapping. Okay, kindly read people here on the left. Mind mapping encourages creativity and individual thought processes at various stages of learning. Whether brainstorming ideas, organizing information, or summarizing key concepts, students take ownership of their learning, an essential aspect of learner-centered teaching. This method adapts to diverse learning needs, making it universally applicable. Now, this strategy is used before the lesson to brainstorm, during the lesson to organize information, or after the lesson to summarize and consolidate learning. Okay, now that we are done with every strategies that we have tackled, These strategies are collectively embodying the principles of LCT by placing students at the center of their educational experiences. They move away from traditional teacher centered methods, instead, fostering environments where students feel empowered to explore, collaborate, and reflect. Teachers act as facilitators, guiding students toward independent and critical thinking. When applied thoughtfully, these strategies create a rich learning ecosystem that values student voices, respects diverse learning styles, and nurtures skills for lifelong learning. How effectively these strategies are implemented depends on us, the teacher's ability to create a supportive and inclusive environment where students feel encouraged to take intellectual risks. Now, for your assignment, kindly take a video of yourself explaining your thoughts on how these strategies might vary in effectiveness depending on classroom dynamics or student readiness.